A walking tour of new downtown Los Angeles. I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, entertaining, and on this video, I'm joined by special guest Brigham. He's been involved in downtown Los Angeles since 2004. He blogs about downtown LA, and I have not met anybody who loves downtown Los Angeles more than Brigham, so I'm super excited for this walk today.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm so excited about showing you the new downtown LA. There's so many things that have happened. If you haven't been here in the last 5 years, we're gonna see all the new hotels, the retail. We're gonna take a tour down Broadway. Come downtown. If you haven't been here, you're gonna love the new changes that have happened.
So we're gonna start our walking tour at the intersection of 8th and Grand at Joe's Public Parking right here. It's right next to CVS. Why are we starting here? Well, it's because I drove to come to DTLA and Brigham said, Chris, you should park there. It's $6 all day on weekends. And I've been to downtown LA a number of times, but this is the first time I found such a cheap parking lot. And we're gonna go this way because there's a Whole Foods right here. And this is why we're starting right here. This is like a great part of LA to start in, but you're gonna walk with us this way over to Whole Foods. And so Brigham, why are we starting here at Whole Foods?
Whole Foods is the anchor here in the southern part of the financial district. It's a wonderful kind of representation of the new downtown LA. It's a really obviously great market, and for the longest time I think we here in downtown thought we couldn't get it. And to get Whole Foods to actually open up here was a huge statement. And I hear right now it's one of the highest grossing Whole Foods in all of LA.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We are gonna head down to 8th Street and we're gonna check out one of the coolest new hotels.
All right.
In downtown LA.
Let's check it out.
The Freehand Hotel. 8th Street is one of my favorite streets in downtown LA. It's got so much history and beautiful architecture. One of my favorite buildings in downtown LA are some of these smaller ones here where the Hotel Bristol is and the Golden Gopher. It's got Victorian elements to it, and to me it kind of reminds me a little bit of San Francisco even. Next door is this beautiful Art Deco building, the Garfield building. There's so much history on this street.
So what do we have across from the Hotel Bristol? We have this Freehand Hotel,
We have the
right?
Freehand Hotel. This is actually one of my favorite buildings in downtown LA. It has one of the tallest neon signs in Los Angeles, the Commercial Exchange building here.
It's probably no longer the Commercial Exchange building, is it?
It isn't,
No.
but it was actually an office building before it was a hotel. This was back in the day. This building was built in 1926. One of the most famous tenants here was Edgar Burroughs, who's the author of Tarzan.
Cool. And so what's cool about the Freehand Hotel?
The Freehand is trendy. It's a hostel for those looking for maybe a little bit more less expensive option to stay in downtown LA. This is an option that they can choose. It's a hostel, but it actually has hotel rooms too, so it's not all just hostels.
An upscale hostel. Let's check it out.
Come into the lobby and make a left, go up the historic elevators to one of the coolest rooftop bars in downtown LA, the Broken Shaker. And it's got a pool and it's got this awesome theme going on here. It's like basically like tiki here, right? Mid-century tiki. And people really don't even know that it's here. It's one of the coolest secrets about downtown LA is that you can go up this elevator and be in this completely different place that, you know, really is just awesome to be here.
So I think is most interesting about this place is you wouldn't know this place was here unless you knew this place was here. That's so cool about walking around with Brigham. It's like he knows these things because he lives here. But you saw the door, 8th, just come in the door, go up that elevator. This rooftop bar, it's kind of like tiki-ish, and it's this super neat vibe because you see the views of all the high-rise buildings around, and you can get some neat pictures of the view down below from up here as well. So just walking out of the Freehand Hotel, there's 3 new eating places around here. One that I really like is Shake Shack on the corner, but there's 2 other ones over here too.
You got Paris Baguette and Sweet Green. What's really exciting about all of this is less than a year ago, if you were walking down 8th Street, there would have been nothing here because this basically is brand new. Both of these, or actually all 3 of these restaurants opened up within the last year. Just across the street from Shake Shack at 8th and Hill is this enormous historic building once called the Hamburger Department Store. It's this beautiful terracotta structure that's 1.1 million square feet. It's gymongous. This is going to be the next big thing in downtown LA. The developer is planning to convert it to retail, office, restaurants, hotel, a giant rooftop park. And this is going to be finished somewhere around like 2021, 2022. So when you're in downtown LA in the future, be sure to check this out.
So we're just rounding the corner from the hamburger department store, and we are on Broadway now. Brigham, tell us a little bit about Broadway.
Broadway is pretty much the most magnificent street in Los Angeles. It's got the most rich history in all of Southern California. I mean, this was the high street of Los Angeles. At one point, every single major retailer had a flagship presence here on Broadway. It has the most historic movie palaces of any street in America. There are 12 historic movie palaces on Broadway.
Yeah, and speaking of these movie palaces, and I've always thought they're cool, and if we look down this way, the Rialto here, you know, when I came here before, a lot of these movie palaces, they were just run down and kind of decrepit. And so it's actually great to see a lot of them being rehabilitated. Some of them as theaters. The other ones that couldn't be rehabilitated as theaters coming back as stores. But Brigham, what's happening to this one back here?
So this is really, really exciting. This is going to be the new Apple flagship store for Los Angeles. This is the Tower Theater. It's one of those original 12 movie palaces that are on Broadway, but because of all the disrepair that's happened in the last several decades before it was really used, Apple has leased the entire building, and it's so exciting that it's going to be the new Apple
Store's coming to downtown LA.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do we know when? Like tomorrow? Should I get in line to get my iPhone?
Probably next year. I mean, it's got a lot of work that's needed.
Yeah. And I'm glad I did not get run over by that bus. All right, where are we heading to now, Brigham?
We're going to head to the Herald Examiner building down the street here. And while we're walking, I want to point out some of the cool things happening on Broadway.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of retailers that have now opened up here on Broadway, such as Makita from Germany, Theory, the global flagship store for Acme Studios. You have Aesop, and Paul Smith just rented a space here. And what that says is downtown LA is really on the map now. These brands are very exclusive. Many of them would have opened up only on the west side of Los Angeles at one point, but now downtown LA is a major player, and it's actually a place people want to do business now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do business, and I also see like this is new in downtown LA, and eat outside too. I mean, take a look at these like tables and chairs that are out here. This like, how long has these things been here?
This has been here for a while. It's basically they're called pedestrian plazas, and it was really modeled after New York City.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very cool. So before we move on, something that I find really interesting about downtown LA and what makes it pretty unique is that like all these stores, and this German store Brigham was just talking about, like it's not in a shopping mall, in a cheap strip mall. It's in these like amazing grand buildings of times of old. Brigham, what is this building?
This is the Eastern Columbia building, built in 1930. It's one of the most beautiful buildings in Los Angeles. It's this beautiful Art Deco edifice here with this amazing sunburst here. You can see the gold relief here. And this is one of the other reasons why I love downtown LA. It's just filled with just amazing architecture like this that you're not gonna find anywhere else in the region. And so this whole building was a department store at one point, and it was converted to high-end condos. And one of its most famous residences here was Johnny Depp. He owned 4 penthouses up on the top of this building with amazing views. If you Google Johnny Depp in Eastern Columbia, you'll be able to see inside of what these units used to look like.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And when you said there's no other place to find buildings like this, when I look at this, I think it comes from like the Wizard of Oz. So if you're not in downtown LA, maybe check out Oz. All right, so just down the street from that green building is this brown building right here. And it's got this sign that says United Artists, which I think is like a movie theater chain. Is there a movie theater in there, Brigham?
It's not a movie theater, it's a movie palace. And this is one of the original movie palaces that we were talking about earlier. And the Ace Hotel came and converted it to a hotel in 2013. And it has one of the coolest rooftop bars in downtown LA, just called Upstairs. And many people here in Los Angeles really attribute all the exciting changes to Broadway because Ace Hotel came here, and it became a solid anchor and brought in so many new businesses to the area.
So when did Ace Hotel open?
2013.
2013. And so if you want to go into that rooftop bar, there's this little random door that says hotel. It doesn't actually look that welcoming, but you go in there and then you can walk through the hotel restaurant. You take the elevator up to the roof. which is all the way up there, and there's like this really neat rooftop bar, a rooftop swimming pool, and there's some pretty epic views of downtown LA up there. This is another one of those places that if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. But now you know Brigham, and so now you know. So just a couple blocks from the Ace Hotel now, we're leaving what's known as the historic core, and we're kind of on the border between the Fashion District and South Park. And so Brigham, tell us about what we see here.
Well, Chris, this is kind of like what you would have seen in downtown LA, kind of all over the place. This is what most people think of when they think of downtown LA. So at one point where we were standing by Whole Foods, this is
where
what
we
it
started by Whole Foods.
Yeah, this
right?
is what it would have been like. Which
just like 5 or 6 years ago, right?
5 or 6 years ago, it would have been dead, not a single person on the street, tumbleweeds blowing by.
Yeah, you missed the tumbleweed, it just blew by here.
And then now look at it, where we were standing before, Whole Foods, that whole area is just vibrant and reactivated. And so this part of downtown LA is kind of the next up and coming area. We're standing across the street from the Herald Examiner building, designed by one of the most famous female architects in American history, Julia Morgan. You might have known her as the architect who designed the Hearst Castle in San Simeon, California. And this is one of her best prime examples of her work. It's beautiful. I actually think it looks like something out of Star Wars, especially from the era. I mean, you can't really tell right now, but the roof really looks like something out of the movies. They're right now currently changing it into the new Arizona State University campus. And it's going to be filled with students in about a couple of years.
So we're walking our way through South Park on the way to the financial district, and we had to get this scene. For those of you who watch this channel a lot know I love hamburgers. And Brigham, do you know anything about this place?
I don't know much about it, but this mural always stands out when I do walk past this place.
And I think like this is just about the character of downtown LA, like graffiti art, things like that, and there's a ton of it throughout downtown LA. Walking over to the financial district, and what do we have here? We have a Target. Brigham, what is this, a Target in downtown LA?
Yes, this Target is actually a really huge deal for us in downtown because when it first opened back in like 2012, it was like one of the only places we can get anything in downtown because prior to Target opening, if you had to buy anything, you had to leave downtown. So it's such a huge deal, and it's part of this really cool shopping complex called Fig at 7th.
So Brigham, how long have you lived here in downtown LA?
I've lived here, I moved here first in 2005 when all of this revitalization was first starting. And I did do a little stint in Pasadena, but on and off, I've been here for over 10 years.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
What do you like best about living in downtown LA?
I love downtown LA for its walkability. It's like nowhere else in Los Angeles. Everywhere else in LA, you have to get in your car to do everything, to mail a letter, to go to the store, buy something. In downtown LA, I feel like it's so cool, so special, because our experience living here is very much like what somebody in New York would be like, or Tokyo. You're walking. You're walking to your barber, your dentist, your work, your getting your chores done, your errands, and I love that.
Cool.
I don't have to get in my car for everything here.
So for people who are planning to visit LA, how long do you think they should spend in downtown LA compared to the rest of LA?
I would say you want to spend at least a couple of days here because we do have a bunch of museums like the Broad Museum on Bunker Hill, the MoCA Museum, you have the Walt Disney Concert Hall, so all that cultural stuff. You have like the Staples Center down in South Park. So, you know, you want to spend at least a couple of days here in downtown LA to see all of that. And of course, being in downtown, it's the hub of the transit system. So you can take the train to the beach, the Expo line to Santa Monica, the Red line to Hollywood, the Gold line to Pasadena, the Blue line to Long Beach, all from downtown LA. So you don't even have to rent a car.
And this actually, can you take the subway from here at this?
Yeah, actually there's a subway station across the street from us, the 7th Metro subway stop.
All right. Hey, but he said he likes walking, so let's walk over to our last destination.
Awesome.
All right, you go that way, I'll go this way. All right, so we made it to the financial district, and Brigham saved the best for last. Brigham, what is this? What is this building behind us?
This is the Wilshire Grand Tower. It is the new tallest building on the West Coast, including the spire on top. It's 1,100 feet tall, which makes it taller than the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco.
Sorry, we had to pause for the fire engine going by. This is the thing about shooting live video in downtown Los Angeles, but you were just telling us how this is the tallest building on the West Coast.
Yeah, this is 1,100 feet tall, so it's basically taller than the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco. It's taller than the US Bank Tower here in LA. And on very top of this tower is the Intercontinental Hotel. So it has a really special sky lobby on the 70th floor, which makes it one of, I think, the tallest hotel lobby in the US.
Yeah, and I'll say the view up there, it's totally amazing. Like, it's a great view. And you might be thinking, hey, go up to the US Bank Tower, they've got the sky slide. That costs money, and this view from this lobby is totally free. And by the way...
That's a secret.
Yeah, by the way, so we didn't tell, you didn't hear that from me. Or from here, or anywhere. But also, if you go up there and if you're a man, go check out the men's restroom. It has some of the most interesting urinals I've ever seen. I'll just leave it for that. You have to come and you have to see it. Hey, well, Brigham, I really enjoyed this tour with you today. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks for showing us around. Hey, if people want to follow you and they want to find out more about your blogging or stuff, where should they check you out?
Check out dtlarising.com, which you'll find our social media on there, DTLA Rising on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, well, we won't say goodbye because we're going to see you in the next video, one of our other LA videos, or Brigham will see you over at dtlarising.com. You'll find links in the description below as well.